Okay, welcome to Rugby League Outsiders prediction video. This is the only prediction video on the internet that counts, in our opinion. Although I've got to be careful saying that this week because we've got an amazing guest in Dean Sullivan from Rugby League History, massive Rugby League channel, loads of knowledge, and he's going to put his own spin on the prediction this week as well. My name's Craig.
And you get me as well.
Yeah, and Karl's there as well.
And really great, exciting week of Super League coming up, especially with the fixtures that we had last weekend. St Helens and Wigan, between them, conceding 80 points and scoring, 8 or 10 between them. Yeah, so it's a really interesting week, a pivotal week of Super League, I thought, last week.
Yeah, so Dean, welcome along. If you could kind of summarise last week's results, how would you kind of summarise round 19 of the Super League?
Well, I mean, how often does it happen where you get Saints and Wigan, they both get battered on the same week, pretty much? I can't really think of a time when that's happened, but I mean, Warrington and Leeds played really well, and Wigan and Saints played really poorly, and then there was some other close games in there, and I think Hull FC were a bit competitive against Catalan and that, so it was a good week, I think, for the Super League.
Yeah, some people saying it was like, when we look back on this, it could be like a pivotal week in the entire season where, you know, positions change and it set the scene for this last little run in for the last few games. Yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
Right, should we go into the first game?
Yeah, let's get in. Okay, so we've got two games on Thursday. We're spoiled. We love a Thursday game. So two games, starting off with Cass versus Lee, 8 o'clock.
Right, I'll jump straight in. Lee, brilliant at the weekend. I didn't see it, actually. I've only watched the highlights, so I can't claim to know the whole ins and outs of Lee. But they've looked dangerous all season, and Saints really took a cropper, didn't they, this week? Scoring for fun. I can only see one result in this game. Although Castleford are improving week on week. They're just gradually getting there week on week. Gary's having a great season. Tex Hoy's playing really well. But I still think Lee will be too strong for Castleford, even at the jungle.
Yeah, Dean, that must have been a tough pill to swallow, that the game at the weekend.
Yeah, I haven't really seen that many times as a Saints fan losing like that, and I thought that we were really poor, and we made Lee look like they were the best team in the world, like they were the Harlem Globetrotters and something like that. So.
Yeah. What about your predictions for this game then, based on Lee's performance last weekend?
I think if they can play like that again, then they'll be too strong for Castleford. But Castleford have been improving week on week, and they gave Salford a bit of a game on the weekend. So I think Lee should win if they turn up and play like they did against Saints, and they should get the victory.
Yeah, well, so you're going Lee. I'm gonna go Cass. I'm gonna go out on a limb here.
All right.
Yeah, I think they're building something pretty good. I think there may be a little bit of like a post beating Saints dip from Lee. I don't really know what I'm basing that on, but I'm just going against the grain a little bit. So I'm gonna go Cass on that one.
The only team news I've got, Gareth O'Brien, he's out, failed head injury assessment, so he won't play this weekend.
Yeah.
Nothing on the way of Castleford at the minute.
Okay, right, let's move on to the next game then. So also 8 o'clock, Wigan versus Giants. Both had a bit of a kick in this weekend, or last weekend rather. So interesting game.
So we said all year, didn't we? Wigan are the team that's going to run away with the league, and then all of a sudden they pick some injuries up. The 2-star men are out, and they've had 2 losses on the bounce, and one of them came to Hull FC, and they really weren't at the races, I didn't think, against Wire. So, having said that, I've not seen enough from Huddersfield this year that tells me that they're going to knock Wigan over.
Yeah. Dean, your take?
I think Wigan will bounce back this week. After they lost against over the weekend against Warrington, I think Matt Peake come out and said we don't want to be associated with that defeat. We're just going to totally forget about it and then start again against Huddersfield. So I'm expecting Wigan to bounce back and in a big way.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I think Giants will be licking the lips. They'll be thinking, maybe we can do it, especially Brad O'Neill out with some, a suspected ACL injury. So, yeah, I think we're going to bounce back. Too strong for Giants, but Giants will be licking their lips. So I think we're all in agreement there on the Wigan game. If we fast forward then to Friday, also 8:00, we've got probably the game of the round, and that's Warrington versus Hull KR.
Oh, without doubt, the game of the round. I can't wait for this one. Both red hot teams at the minute. Both have won 5 of the last 6. I'll give you a couple of results though. Warrington's last 3 games are huge. They picked up wins against Wigan, Saints and Leeds, so they've picked up some big wins against some big teams. Hull KR, we all know how well they're playing and how fluent they're playing in attack, especially. London, Leeds and Hull, they've won in the last 3. So 2 different sets of fixtures, but both teams absolutely ripping it up at the minute.
And your prediction then? But you keep going first. Should we mix it up?
Yeah, you can go first.
Okay, I'll go first. Right, I'm gonna go a wire. I'm gonna go a wire win. I think it'll be a close game. I'll tell you something. Just a little side talking point. I saw a post about Mikey Lewis being untouchable. Like, do you have him down as untouchable?
No, I think he's a great player.
Yeah,
but I think he's a grafter as well. I think he's got all the skills in his arsenal, hasn't he? But he does really work hard as well, and that's one thing I think goes unnoticed about him a little bit. He's always, if you watch him in back play, he's always moving, he's always talking, he's always looking for the gap, and his support play is brilliant, which I think is one of the reasons he scores so many tries, to be honest with you. But yeah, no, I don't think he's untouchable, but I think he's a great player.
Great player. What about you, Dean? What do you think
about Mikey Lewis?
Yeah,
he's a really good player. He's having a really good season once again. I don't think I remember one time, I think it was a couple of years ago, Phil Clark said he was having a season like Benji Marshall did in 2005. I think that was a bit of an exaggeration. But he's a good player, and he had a good series with England against Tonga. So yeah, I think he's one of the best players in the Super League at the moment.
Are we going to see John Bateman this week? Has it landed yet?
I'm not sure. Do you know, Dean?
I don't know if he's flown back over yet or not. But it was that whole scenario with him and West Tigers was a bit strange for me.
Yeah, we was talking about it this morning, and a little bit of a fallout with Benji Marshall, and then he's suddenly here at Warrington. It's just a bit weird.
Dane, what do you think of that as a move for Warrington? Do you think it's a good move for Wire? I think we're a little bit unsure.
It could be, but I think John Bateman, I don't think he's been good for a couple of years now. I think his last good spell was when he was at Canberra.
Yeah,
because when he went back to Wigan, he was a bit underwhelming. And then he went to West Tigers, and performances haven't been good there because when it was announced he was going on loan, there was lots and lots of comments on the West Tigers pages going, thank God, and
really
all this type of thing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we were sort of saying, I don't know what he brings to an already, high-performing Warrington. He doesn't really bring anything else, does he?
Yeah, we'll just have to wait, and maybe Sam Burgess has a plan for him, or maybe he can get something out of him.
Yeah, it's a good point. Okay, so what's your take on this game then, Dean?
I think this one's definitely game of the round. It can literally go either way. I think it's at Halliwell Jones, this match, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah, so for that, I'd probably lean more towards Warrington just to win this game. I think it might come down to like a try or a drop goal or something like that.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So I've said Wire, you said...
I'm going Warrington as well, yeah.
Right, okay, so...
Yeah, it's clean sweep for Warrington.
Yeah, okay, so right, moving on to the Saturday's fixtures then. We've got 2 fixtures on Saturday. The first one at 3 p.m, which is Hull FC versus Saints. Dean, can you lead on this one, bearing in mind you're a massive Saints fan?
Okay, well, St Helens they've lost 5 games in a row for the first time ever in Super League history. And I think it's also the first time we've lost 5 matches in a row since 1986, I think.
Wow.
So
that's why we've got you on
there's
today. For those bits like that. Sorry, mate.
There's a mountain injury toll, but I mean, every club has injuries, so you can only use that excuse for so long. But I think Jack Wellesby's out now for the rest of the regular season.
Hamstring.
And I think Hull FC, they'll fancy their chances, and they're a bit of a bogey side for Saints, because I remember there's been times where they've struggled, and I think there was one occasion last year they nearly beat us.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. So
it's at Hull as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they'll definitely fancy their chances against us. And I mean, Welland is under immense pressure.
What's your
if we don't win?
What's your take on Paul Wellens as a Saints fan? Would you be keeping him, or are you one of these people who's jumping on the old bandwagon for him to go straight away?
I've defended him for a while now, but it's really hard to judge him entirely because we've got so many players out. But if we had a full squad and we were still losing games like that, then definitely I would look at someone else coming in.
Like a Rowan Smith.
I mean, there's always people. You look at the history of St Helens since the Super League era. There's always coaches lining up to come there.
Yeah, I bet.
Go on then, Craig. What are you calling?
Well, I take it, Dean, you're going for a Saints win.
Yeah, just.
Wow, that's interesting. You know, that is you go back 18 months, like you'd back Saints every minute of the day, wouldn't you? You know, so interesting.
Yeah,
right, I've got to go Saints win. I think they're going to pull out of the bag now. You know, the pressure is building, and I think there's a win here. I think they've earmarked this game as like, okay, right, let's use it as the first step in, you know, building towards a stronger finish. And although Wellesby's out, they have got some good youth. Got some good youth there, and I think they'll draft someone in with a point to prove. And there's been a waiting on the sidelines for a long time. I mean, who's going to shift Jack Wellesby out of a team? Nobody, unless it boils down to injury. So
he's out now.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He's picked up an injury. He's made a way for somebody that's on the sideline. So, so I'm going to back Saints there as well. What about you, Karl?
I'm going Hull FC.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I
disgusting.
For no reason. There seems to be unrest now at St Helens.
Yeah, there is.
And Hull, they're just chipping away at improving week on week. Mm. And they were right there with Catalan at the weekend. There wasn't much in it. And South of France isn't an easy place to go. Saints are wounded big time. Yeah. And I think Hull are going to nick it.
Do you think this hits even worse because, you know, they had this identity, like never write off the Saints, and identities of being winners, and so when they lose to teams like Lee, it just hits twice as hard.
Yeah, I think it does, and I think the fans have got so used to it. A lot of this comes from the fans, doesn't it? The pressure that the fans are piling on them, how unhappy they are. So yeah, I think that is starting to fade away now, and they're in uncharted territories, aren't they?
Yeah. Dean, what if you have another loss this weekend? I mean, what would your thoughts be then?
It'd be a nightmare scenario, losing 6 matches in a row, and then you've got sort of teams breathing down your neck that are just outside the playoff places.
Yeah.
And ever since the Super League eras began, St Helens is the only team that's never missed out on the playoffs. They've made it every single year.
That's an interesting fact. Yeah. I mean, Leeds will be looking to push on and get into the playoffs, and to do that at the expense of Saints, I never saw that coming.
Well, that takes us, I suppose, on to our next game, which is Salford versus Leeds. So the battle for the final playoff spot, I suppose.
Yeah, so 5:30 on the Saturday. I'll go first on this one. So Salford, you know, very, very, very strong at the weekend. Leeds, I think they performed very well against Huddersfield. They weren't clinical. You know, they still made mistakes, but they were markedly better. So anyway, I'm going to back Leeds to a win, but it's going to be very, very close.
I'll go Salford then.
Gosh, you would.
Salford are up and down, but they're more up than Leeds are. I know Leeds are improving, But Salford are 5th in the table for a reason, and Leeds are 7th in the table for a reason. I haven't seen enough yet from Leeds to tell me that they are this new side just because they've got a head coach coming. Yeah, they're improving. They're definitely improving. But Salford are fairly consistent. Going Salford.
Dean?
Is this game at AJ Bell Stadium, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, it is, yes.
Yeah, I'd probably, for me, I think this is probably the hardest game to call of the week, but I'd say Salford will probably win this one.
Yes.
I didn't get to see the highlights of the match, Leeds' last match where they won. But, I mean, Brad Arthur doesn't really have a lot of time, does he? He's only really got the rest of this season just try to do something.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this could go either way. I wouldn't be surprised if Leeds won this match.
Dean, I know you've got a deep knowledge of NRL as well, and I mean, no doubt you'd have kind of kept an eye on Brad Arthur's demise, from the NRL. What do you think he brings to Leeds, and what do you know of him in regards to his coach in the NRL?
Yeah, well, I support Parramatta in the NRL, so Brad Arthur was there for nearly close to 11 years. He brings a lot of experience as a head coach, and I think from a player perspective, he gets along really well with the players. Like everyone at Parramatta, all the players respected him there.
Yeah.
I think the way that he was sacked was a bit harsh, but because I really thought that he'd last until 2025 until his contract ended. But I think he's got a lot of experience, and he was actually in the Melbourne system before he came to Parramatta, so he was under Craig Bellamy there. But I think if he was given more time at Leeds, like if he signed for 2 or 3 years, you'd see a big improvement in Leeds, I think.
Yeah. It's weird. I mean, we get the impression he's kind of holding on for an opportunity that might arise in the NRL and would rather be down there. And fair enough, which is why he's not kind of nailed his colours to the mast, really. What's your take on that? I think
he's only just signed a short-term deal with Leeds with the eye of going back to Australia. I think that there's a couple of clubs there that are looking to potentially move on their head coach. I know Adam O'Brien at Newcastle, he's under a lot of pressure to keep his job. And also there was talk a couple of weeks ago about Manly maybe thinking about getting shot of Anthony Seibold. And obviously Brad Arthur's been at Manly before. He was assistant head coach there. So I think he's just biding his time until the position becomes available over there.
What about this? What about if he slipped in and like Paul Whelan sacked Brad Arthur in?
Oh.
Now that wouldn't surprise me. I mean,
yeah, no,
crazier things have happened in Super League. Yeah,
it's a bit of a funny story because obviously Wonga Blake was playing for Parramatta and then he got moved on, and I went, "Oh, thank goodness!
Yeah,
thank goodness he's finally not in my team anymore." And then the next thing I look on Facebook and it goes, "Stellas has signed Wonga Blake," and I went, "Oh, here we go again."
Yeah.
Right, shall we move on to the final?
I got sidetracked.
Final game of the round: London Broncos at home versus Catalan Dragons. This is a repeat of the first round game that we went to, Craig. Good initiative by London Broncos. I think it's £5 a ticket, so try to get as many people in as they can. Obviously, Catalan won't bring a huge following over to London, so £5 a ticket. Brilliant. Get yourself down to the capital and watch some rugby league. Yeah,
no doubt. It'll be a bit warmer than when we was there as well. It was absolutely Baltic. Okay, so I think this will be a good game. As always, I love watching London. One of the cleanest teams. When we look at the card tables, how many cards teams have had. London's up there, top of the table, the least cards.
Yeah, they've had 4 yellow cards all season. That's it.
Anyway, so I think there'll be a Catalan win.
Yeah, I agree.
Catalan, just interestingly as well, when you look at like the signings in and out, they're building quite a strong team for next year as well. So they're definitely looking to contend next year.
Yeah,
but I think this will be a Catalan
Sam
win.
Tompkins will be inside as well next year. Yeah, so look, it was all about Tompkins' return, wasn't it, at the weekend, and he had a really good game. And we mentioned in our other show that a lot of people said he reffed the game as well as he played, which is always Tompkins' style in it. But yeah, he made the headlines. He had a great game. Catalan still playing well. London will give him a game, but it's going to be a Catalan win, is this one?
Yeah, Dean?
I'm going to go Catalan to win by about 20 points.
Really? Yeah.
I think London, they'll be competitive early on, but I just think as the game, as we've seen throughout the entire season, as the game wears on, I think that's when the quality of the other team comes in, and then they just sort of run away with it. So probably, go for Catalan by about 20 points.
Yeah. Okay. We got Tariq Sims red card at the weekend, so he'll be out. Mickey McAlorams thinks picked up a calf injury as well, so we'll be without him. So will be a reduced team for Catalan, but still think they'll win.
Yeah, I think we're all going Catalan all round there.
Yeah.
Okay, so that kind of wraps it up. Dean, it's been awesome to chat to you. Like, just anybody with a depth of knowledge about the game, such as you have, I could spend hours talking to you. Can you just give your socials a bit of a plug? Where can people kind of find you if they don't already follow you?
Yeah, so I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook, Instagram and TikTok. I'm on all four of them pretty much. If you just type in rugby league history on any of them, they should just appear.
Yeah. Yeah, and I suggest you do follow that, especially for the NRL news. I mean, some of the stuff that, well, not just news, but you're going back on the history and talking about the game. It's just really, really interesting stuff. So, and this has been great, like I said, to chat to you.
It's the first time we've had a guest on for our predictions episode, so I hope people who are listening at home enjoy it. And yeah, Dean, it's been great to have you on, mate. Thank you very much.
Well, it's no bother. It was great to be on.
Brilliant. Okay, so until next time, take care.